Let me ask you this. I'm sure when you were there and others, the goal is to get Iraq, other allies besides Iran and the United States in the Middle East there. Is that essentially the larger problem here? If Iraq doesn't feel it can essentially decouple itself from Iran, how are we ever going to fix this, have this long-term relationship there?
Yeah. Chuck, I think you're right, and I think that's where the United States has dropped the ball. Going back a number of years, what we should have done is developed a coalition of forces in the Middle East, a coalition made up of the moderate Arab countries, a coalition including Israel, because we had some mutual areas that we wanted to go after. One, we wanted to obviously protect against ISIS and against terrorism. But two, we also had a relationship with regards to contesting Iran and what they were trying to do in the Middle East. Had we built that kind of coalition, both from a security point of view, as well as the point of view of going and trying to repair those states that had failed in the Middle East, I think we would have been in a much better position in terms of dealing with the chaos that is now the Middle East.
Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Meet the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.